everyone, I'm Grace Walker. I have the pleasure of speaking with Jason Ganpat. And Jason is going to share with us about the music group Los Buenos Parranderos. Please meet Jason Ganpat. Jason, please tell us about yourself and the formation of this wonderful group.
Hi, everyone. I currently in the group, I function as the manager of the group. So taking all the calls and making all the arrangements and so on for all the performances and jobs that are coming in during this very hectic time. The leader of the group is my wife, Gail, and both of us have been there from the very beginning, the founding and the formation of the group. As it turned out, she had been teaching Spanish at a secondary school in Port of Spain, using the Spanish music to encourage the students. Then one day, the music teacher happened to be passing along and then stopped, asked her if she would assist him in helping the students, the music students, as well as the choir, the church choir that he belonged to in Tunapuna. It was called the Good Shepherd Anglican Church. So she volunteered to go out to meet the church choir and help them with their Spanish songs, so that as they would go caroling during the Christmas season. That was in 1978. The following year, 1979, well, they wanted to extend their repertoire. And so she added some more songs, okay? And by that time, the bug had set into them and they wanted to form the group. So the name came about, Los Buenos Parranderos, Los Buenos, the good part coming from the Good Shepherd. And then, of course, Parranderos, that's who we were then going about. So that's 1979, and the group has been active until today. This is our 43rd season, I think it is, yes. Still going strong. It has evolved over the years, Folks have left, gone on to other pursuits. Some have left and formed their own bands. They are still active, but Gail and I are still, well, the original members of the band, and we are keeping it going strong. Presently, we have in the band a number of past students of ours who also studied music at school, and they love music, and some of them were also students of the Spanish language. And then they wanted to combine and join the group. So we told them, well, okay, if there are spaces for you all, and we have 9 or 14 members in the band, and 9 of them are past students,
Has the group been active in its recordings of music? And tell us about that aspect of the music of Los Buenos Parranderos.
Well, we have done 2 recordings, 2 albums. The first in 1999 with our good friend Simeon.
Yes.
We'll come to him just now. Way back in 1999, yes. And the second one also with him and his company, Sanch Electronix, in 2015. So we have 2 albums, yes. And that's how we try to spread it. They are very popular. People still call and ask if we have copies of the first one available, but those were sold out, in a short space of time. Yeah, they're still very popular.
Great. So it looks like you'll have to memorialize them on digital media next.
Yeah, that's an idea we have been toying with and see how we can get it done.
Wonderful. We mentioned our mutual colleague, Sanch. Tell us about how that relationship came about and how it's developed, as we know in terms of the association with recordings.
Yes. Well, it started when I was a sixth form student. Here we call them sixth form. That you're just about to leave secondary school. And he had come in, I think, after just finishing his first degree at the University of the West Indies. He came and joined the teaching staff. I think his subjects at that time were mathematics and physics and so on. I was a student of the Romance languages, French, Spanish, Latin at that time. But many of my close friends and so on were in his classes, the math and physics. And being the kind of person he is, and very easily accessed, you know, and he mentored. And of course, there was the love of sport.
Yes.
You know, and we played a lot of sports together, especially cricket. And everybody just sort of gathered around and got together, gelled, you know, and we are still, although we haven't been in contact in the past few years, but everybody's still there on his contact list, you know, and we are approaching 50 years next year, golden anniversary. So he has already said that, hey, something special has to happen next year, you know. And throughout the years, well, after leaving school and university and so on, and then he went into his music archive and setting up his music industry, you know, together with another colleague, and hence the name Sanch Electronix. And we continued. Then he knew that we got into Parang and he wanted to get involved in that. He developed, and then he offered to produce whenever we were ready to produce our first album.
Wonderful.
And things just developed from there, and that's how the two albums came about. You know, he was also very instrumental. His contacts with the ambassador to Cuba here in Trinidad, in Port of Spain, and he was very instrumental in getting the group to go up to Havana in 2016 to perform at a music festival that they had been having up there. It was the 20th anniversary in 2016. The Cuban, it was called Cubadisco.
Ah.
And so we had the opportunity to go up to Havana and spread the parang around many communities in Havana. It really was a wonderful experience, you know.
Now, knowing that you indicated that you also were Spanish-speaking educator, how was the interaction in Cuba as you shared what is our local interpretive parang music with a natural-speaking Spanish community in Cuba?
Well, first of all, well, as I mentioned, both my wife and I are Spanish teachers. Well, we are not retired anyway.
Yes.
But we continue, and we have always, well, not insisted on everyone that we know, all our students and even members of the band, that we are speaking and we are singing what is correct, authentic Spanish. The music that we are putting out, the content of the songs and so on, even though we may, in our research, we have come upon songs where this, from the old days, from the earliest times of when parang was beginning, you know, the older folks, the earliest generations, they just wrote what they heard from their parents.
Yes.
And when we look at those recordings and so on, or listen to them, we made the adjustments in the language. So we just fixed it, you know, and we are singing the correct Spanish and we go out, and when there are audiences with Spanish-speaking persons, officials and so on, they always compliment us on using the correct language. So in Cuba, well, I mean, it was a new environment. And we know that in Cuba, they have music pouring out of their veins.
Absolutely.
Anywhere you go, anywhere you go.
Any day, anytime.
Any day, anytime, anywhere in Havana.
Yes. And
so for the younger members of the group to experience this, it really went into their minds, you know. Yes. And our parang, because of our natural rhythm and so on, you know, it was different for the communities up there in Cuba, and they really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. You know, and it was quite comfortable, very enjoyable. I hope that we could find ourselves back there someday, you know.
It was a delight for me too, as a first-time visitor to Cuba, and this was when in the Obama's administration, the opening diplomatic relationships occurred. Yes. And I have to go back. That's all I could say. I have.
Yeah, well, it's the same with us. We have to go back, you know. Yeah. The folks are so simple, and they would just join us as we were walking along the streets, be singing, or you may have a couple of musicians sitting at the side of in front of a store with their guitars and so on, and they started, and then we were just join them, and it was a nice time there, you know.
It's a unique nostalgic experience
Oh yes.
of world. If a world were to have stood still, and just the life of culture, arts, and music is just so potent and so vibrant.
Yeah.
And so, as we celebrate this week, especially the upcoming birthday of Simeon, I wanted to take this opportunity to enjoy what you have shared with Los Buenos Parranderos, with Simeon's audience, and to invite them all to appreciate, especially during this season, and that we can hear from one of the originators of the songs of Parang and Trinidad and Tobago. So I want to thank you especially for taking the time here with me today, as we both cheering and celebrating. Happy birthday to you, Sanch.
Yes.
And
Feliz Cumpleaños.
Feliz Cumpleaños. Thank you so much. And Jason, thank you for taking again the time to be here and available, and to share your wonderful music. And we will share the recording that we have of your performance,
yes,
with the audiences, so that the music again can reach all of our new communities and audiences throughout the world.
Right. Well, thank you very much for reaching out to us. It was a pleasure anytime, and we hope that the audiences will like this song. That song in particular is very popular, you know, and of course we can always work on adding more and so on as later on as the audiences increase and the site develops and so on. So it's a pleasure meeting you.
Same to you, and thank you so much. We're going into the holiday season again, and so to the holiday cheers to you and the family, and have a wonderful, blessed, festive season, and
yes,
prosperous new year ahead.
Well, I wish you all the same as well, to you and your family.